Is it really a surprise to me that they're taking you seriously? I always had the very best seats, now they're calling you off of the streets. Your face is now a sharpened jaw, and all these women are in shock and awe. That such a nice guy could be so unrefined. It's like you need to take the cuffs, and what you leave me was worse, I don't care. There's no one round in the whole lot for us to be seen and call on. And I've been hoarding all your tapes again. I know you got your sweater. And I'll be waiting for my window. Now when these conversations tend to go, your eyes don't read but I can't stop thinking of this mind. It's like you need to take a curse, and what you leave me was worse, I don't care. Just for now,
Merry Christy-Mas, gamers.
it's like I need to
Welcome
take a
to episode 20 of Cinema Curse, the Christy-Mas Wonka special. Scratch that, reverse it. We're talking today about King Paul's new movie, Wonka, or as my friend and former guest of the show, Marcy Hyde, called it, Hot Wonka. And we're also doing kind of a sneaky volume 3 of the Monday Night Movie Night Roundup, talking about Christy, Santa First Female Reindeer, one of our favorite Christmas movies. And I've got my most elaborate game of the year, because it's the last one I get to do for like a month or so, the Spectacular Cinema Curse Advent Calendar. I'm your Wicked Game Master, Conway Cruz, and joining me today, first I'm going to throw it to the Joey Chestnut of talking about movies, Mr. Edwin Gomez.
Oh, well, America, it's December, Christmas time, LA. Talk about two bad movies. One, I don't want to talk about. Second one,
Neither of which
I've
you've seen.
Neither of which I've seen. And I'll stand by the record, on the QT, hush hush, that Timothy Chalamet ain't Wonka. Okay? He ain't. A piece of shit and a terrible actor.
Oh my goodness.
Well, also here is Paul.
Hello, I'm Paul. I have seen the movies, and I have no problem with Timothée Chalamet, but I wish him well. But I do also want to wish people a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year, because I will not see you until the New Year.
And also,
Gosh.
we got every piece of the pie. I've seen half the movies.
nice.
I haven't gotten my Willy Wonka yet, but I have taken a journey with Christy, the first female reindeer,
Nice.
and
What a journey it
I'm
was.
a changed man. Yeah.
Yeah. If only we had someone here who had only seen Wonka, then we would have.
Yeah.
That would truly
Right.
be the full spectrum, so to speak. I want to thank Marina Sakamoto and her band Shunkin for the use of their song Curse off the EP She Nods for opening credits. It's been 38 days since the strike ended and the AMPTP still sucks. And we might, if he responds back to me, another former guest might be stopping in later, but we'll see if he gets back to me. Let me just message him right now. Send you the link when we're ready. But yeah, let's wonker willies. Let me put this one. My favorite. Every once in a while, like a trailer will have a title card in the trailer that makes me laugh a lot, and How Willie is such a funny out of context title card. It's maybe my second favorite, my favorite being in the Gemini Man trailer when there were multiple Will Smiths and then the title card Who Will came up, which was part of a larger thing with like who will do this or this, but just who will.
How Willie sounds
Willie?
like an old timey expression.
Yeah.
How Willie?
Yeah. But Paul, do you want to explain the plot of Wonka?
Sure. Willy Wonka is a lovable twink who arrives on a boat to, I assume, is London.
It's I
but
think
it's like it's like an amalgam of cities.
Does the Gene Wilder one specify what city it's in? Is it supposed to be London, or is it like
I want to say yes, it does, because everyone there is English.
yeah.
But the place they actually shot in was somewhere in Sweden. But I think it's supposed to take place in the UK.
Yeah, but I feel like
the UK.
yeah, but it has a kind of vague storybookness to it, you know.
Yeah.
There's some France and the designs as well, I think.
It's France, huh? Bonjour, no, man.
Yeah.
Bonjour, Willie.
But yeah, he comes a naive guy looking to make his dreams come true as a chocolatier and open up his new chocolate shop. But when he arrives, he finds a city that's cruel and expensive and ruled by these nefarious, rich, fat cats.
The chocolate cartel.
The chocolate cartel of Slugworth and some other fellas. Who the city is very corrupt and they pull all the strings.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has to find a way to navigate. He's also like a slave.
Yeah.
At some point,
he gets signed into indentured servitude.
Slavery.
Essentially,
he has to escape slavery and sort of make his own business.
Yeah.
And whatnot. So that's how I would describe the film. Maybe I went too deep into it, but
no, I mean, for the most part, that's a pretty good summary without getting into. There's a couple of characters we could touch on. The other sort of major characters. There's Olivia Colman, is the mean, I think, Miss Scrubbit or whatever, who runs this pub, and she's the one who basically keeps Willie and these other people in indentured servitude who become Wonka's like compatriots, including this girl Noodle, who's like and I don't get to use this word
it's
much.
Noodle.
I don't get to use this word much, but she's the deuteragonist of the film. And so yeah, it was funny. I went in kind of hoping that it would either be a disaster, which if you take out Paul King's involvement, on paper, it seems like it would be. Or that he'd be able to elevate it, and I think he did it. Like there's definitely, you know, there's like little things I could say for sure, but I thought it was super charming. I was
It was extremely. It was the. I would describe it as very sweet
Mhm.
and wholesome. Which Edwin, knowing you, you probably wouldn't like it. But
I don't know about that, man. I love Paul King, man. Paddington 1, Paddington 2,
Paddington.
but
Okay, well, Paddington 1 and
I will feel no fucking remorse with Timothy Chalamet as Wonka. That's
know
the
what?
only thing. If they would have got someone else, I would have accepted it. But no, they have to get Timothy Chalamet, who looks nothing like Gene Wilder. So fuck that.
Well,
There's my 2 cents.
I don't know if you want to get into that, but
yeah.
it was I thought he was excellent in his own way, and he wasn't doing Gene Wilder.
No.
Was the
Oh no, he
thing.
was. He said it. He said it. He tried to emulate his character. So yeah, nah, I ain't gonna fly with that shit. Fuck
Okay.
that.
Can you cite your sources on that one?
Yeah, it's on one of those. I saw it on Facebook. One of those articles, the Hollywood Reporter, I think. I'm not too sure. One of those fucking things.
Well, he might have been like drawing inspiration from and I could see it in some ways drawing inspiration from it, but he wasn't trying to imitate Gene Wilder for sure. And how I would describe him, he's not funny really. There's gags around him that work,
Mhm.
but him as like, his acting and things like that, he wasn't like really telling jokes, but he was very charming and lovable.
Yeah.
To me, at least.
Well, Edwin
and he had like a charisma to him too. So
Edwin had this same attitude before seeing the Paddington movies. I brought this up beforehand. He was very anti-Paddington, and then he saw it, and he gave like a 5-star review of it on Letterboxd with the
For part two the most.
part
'Cause I
two.
think part 2 is the best. Part 2 is the best one because it does its own thing. Part 1 goes for Wes Anderson vibes. But part 2, he fixed it.
I
were
think
you like, Ben Winshaw is not my Paddington?
yeah.
Who the fuck's Ben Winshaw?
Isn't he doesn't he do the voice?
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
Paddington?
yeah.
Isn't he Q in the Bond
Yes,
movie?
I think
Yes.
so.
Yeah.
He's Twink Q. And we were also discussing beforehand about how much Edwin just hates Zoomer twinks like Timothy Chalamet and Tom Holland. He just
Fuck those guys, man. They have no talent whatsoever. They're just only known for the looks, and Holland, not Spider-Man. That's sad.
I would disagree. I think they're very charming in the right roles.
Yeah, you know what's cool about the Spider-Man movie? The other ones that were way better. That made the movie really, really, really good.
I mean, honestly, I don't. This isn't the Spider-Man podcast, so I don't want to get too far into it. But like, the further I get away from Tom Holland's original Spider-Man trilogy, I kind of think that third one with the other ones is probably actually the weakest of the 3 movies. But
why? You got 2 better Spider-Mans in that movie.
I love Toby. Listen, but it's also
Toby's the man.
It's kind of a
Toby the GOAT. You can't replace Toby Connor.
It just doesn't have the same narrative structure and well designed.
I have to revisit
stuff
the
of
first
other
2.
ones.
I think
I still like all 3 a lot. To be fair, though.
I hate them all.
I think they're all a blast.
I remember going out of the theater. I think 3 was my favorite, but maybe revisiting it, I'll have a different attitude.
Yeah, I think to get back to the Chalamet, yeah, I agree with Paul. I think the few moments that he's weakest are the few times where they give him a more explicit joke to do. But I mean, all of the cast is good. I think the two probably, I mean, the big standout I think that everyone's going to be talking about is Hugh Grant as
Yes.
as the Oompa Loompa.
Jay, did you guys see that him in the French interview?
No.
We had to go he just looks exhausted. He just goes like, Jay, Oompa Loompa.
Yeah. You know what?
Well, I was saying after it that I had this image in my head of Hugh Grant practicing the Oompa Loompa dance in front of a mirror and like giggling to myself.
It's funny. I do think it's funny. Hugh Grant is known as being kind of like a curmudgeon in interviews, but it's also funny. I do think he's playing that up a lot, like because he knows it kills.
Definitely.
Because there's an interview with him and Timothy, and he's doing it, and Timothy's just like cracking up, like it's just him doing shtick essentially. And then also, I mean, this isn't a huge surprise, but Rowan Atkinson is very funny as the
very small part, but he kills it.
Yeah, the evil priest.
I loved how like Michael Key was great.
Yeah, as the chief of police. Whoever the guy playing Slugworth is great.
Oh, he was great too.
And I thought the music was really fun. Like obviously, I mean, definitely are the songs as good as the songs in the original? No.
Better.
Yeah, no shit. Can you
I
stop?
don't want to get that clear, Chief.
Nobody.
Hot take, dude.
Hot take. Like, and also here's
Do
another.
we have Wilder's beautiful voice while singing Pure Imagination?
You can have multiple movies be made, Edwin.
Wilder,
No, they actually-
especially, is the preferred version of the song, Counter.
They got rid of the original one actually to make this
You
one.
can still enjoy
original's
that.
gone now.
Enjoy this.
It sucks.
Now it should be sang by the Wilder and the Wilder himself.
But he's dead. You can't.
Brought him back from
his voice
bring
is
him
still
back from.
fucking alive.
You think they should do like an AI, like
That's it. Fuck
Deep
stuff.
fake.
Fuck AI and fuck the system. Fuck all that shit, man. You should never use that shit. Fucking evil, man. Fucking disgrace for the dead.
Well, now at least we're coming back to something we can all agree on. But the music is is not as good as that, but it is fun. It's good. I like the staging a lot. There's one song in particular I liked between Wonka and Noodle, the second main character. Kind of kid sidekick, business partner, apprentice. It does the old musical thing that it always gets me, where it's like two characters singing overlapping melodies with lyrics that are at cross purposes that, as the song goes on, kind of become more aligned. Which is a pretty common musical trope, but it's always good. Always love to hear it. Were you saying, Evan?
I will say the music was great. And they used, like, in terms of themes, like musical themes and stuff like that, they incorporated, like, especially like Pure Imagination, that chord progression. So it's not like they're ignoring that and making songs that are like just completely different. It's still inspired by the
and I believe
original.
I believe there's 9 songs in the movie, and 2 of them are reprises from the Gene Wilder film.
Okay. One of them being the Oompa Loompa.
One of
song,
them being
of
the
course.
Oompa Loompa song, as sung by Hugh Grant. This time. Well, and actually, he does it twice. He does it once this is a mild spoiler. He does it in the credits as a way to kind of as the equivalent of like when a college movie does like freeze frames on people and text comes up. He does that for like these secondary characters. And then earlier in the film, he does it to explain his own backstory. I mean, I think that's the thing is that people should know is it was funny as we were leaving, me and Paul both heard people talk about how they didn't know it was going to be a musical and how they didn't one person even mentioning how they hated musicals and stuff. And it's funny because I've been seeing trailers for this obviously a bunch, for The Color Purple a bunch, and for Mean Girls a bunch, and those two especially. It's very strange because they're literally adaptations. Because they look, when you watch the trailer, they look like they're just, we're just remaking movies that aren't that old, especially with Mean Girls. But they're specifically adaptations of the hit Broadway, and I believe in The Color Purple's uh, uh, in that example, won a bunch of Tonys, like Broadway musicals, and I don't really understand why. I mean, maybe they both did, maybe neither of them did, but that's been the vibe that I've got from them, is that they were both like did well on Broadway, and it's strange that people are just completely avoiding it because avoiding marketing it because, Paul, you brought this up. We were talking about it as we were leaving. Like, why even, if you're not going to market a movie as a musical, why even invest in them? I mean, I like them, but like, what's even the point on that level? And then if you are like, I think to a certain degree, if you don't promote a movie as a musical and then people come into it and they find out that it's a musical as you're sitting in the theater, you're going to get bad word of mouth.
Right.
And
I will say though, keep going.
And I think that this is one of those movies that sort of feels ready-made to be like buried under snark, especially if it wasn't for King's name, and how much I think the Paddington movies have like created enough of an ecosystem where this movie won't be completely buried under like sarcasm or whatever, but it is so sincere, not remotely cynical or ironic in any way. And I think that's what makes it work, is that this, it sounds on paper like the fucking worst idea in the world, and Willy Wonka origin story, but this, you watch it and you go, oh, this must be something that Paul King has just like thought about doing for a long time. Like, this feels like something he's just probably wanted, like read that book as a kid, watched that movie as a kid, and
and I think what works is Willy Wonka is an optimist.
Mm-hmm.
And that for this stage of his life, you want him to have that like youthful innocence that he admires in like Charlie and stuff like that, as opposed to the awful Tim Burton one where it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's really sour.
Yeah, it's like, that's not what you want.
I'll say this, Edwin,
right.
You got to watch this movie, and you got to at least admit, I feel like if you watch this movie and you don't admit that Chalamet is at least better than Depp, then you are truly biased and unfit for office, frankly.
I refuse. I refuse, sir. Can't betray my gene. And yeah. So I'll just watch Paddington 2.
But I'm not okay. I know you're not gonna like what I'm about to say, but fuck Gene Wilder. Depp or Chalamet?
Gene Wilder and you too.
No. That wasn't an option.
That's not a
Listen,
choice.
I've
explicitly
I've kidnapped your
specified.
family, and if you don't answer Depp or Chalamet, I will kill them all.
Depp.
Biased fake news.
Damn.
The biased media.
Yeah, I was just curious. I just looked up, and it's overperforming at the box office, and it seems like it has a good cinema score, which is kind of an empty thing, but like it's kind of the best way we have to see if people like think it matched up to what they wanted.
And it's especially good for a blockbuster, I think. Cinema scores,
Yeah.
I was gonna say earlier, I know this isn't the best metric, but it is the audience score is outperforming the critic score and Rotten Tomatoes. So, and
the critic score isn't bad even.
No, it's not. Just the audience.
Yeah. So it's 84%. Yeah, it's good. I think the having not seen it yet, I think what's funny about what you said is the earnestness aspect of it, because I think that really is becoming popular again. People said it when Avatar came out, and like the second Avatar, and I think that is welcome. And so I agree with you why it's so odd that they're backing off of that in marketing, especially because I think Wonka was the biggest. I mean, Mean Girls is bizarre, but Wonka was a big victim of it because it looked, if you don't know it's a musical and heightened in that way, the trailers do look bizarre. Yeah. Like, why would anyone act like this?
Yeah.
I find it a super weird trend. But hopefully this and hopefully Color Purple 2 outperform and so maybe then they'll actually know that people want to see these things as they are
It's
and market them the right way.
it's kind of wild that Wonka's probably about to beat Aquaman 2 at the box office, but
Good. Fuck Aquaman.
yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it personally, but like I'm just saying
Yeah.
it seems like one of those things that if you had said that even a year ago, maybe like people wouldn't have expected that, even maybe 6 months ago, honestly, like pre-Flash. And so it's interesting. But yeah, I think I'm wonked out. Unless Paul, you have anything, or Josh,
No,
you have any
that's-
more questions?
It's
No.
pretty good. I had some Reese's Pieces. I normally don't do that in a theater, but I'm like, I gotta get some chocolate.
The Candy Man, you gotta.
Let's see. I think we're gonna. Sorry. Let's move on. My friend, I had a friend who was going to. I thought he was going to be able to join the Zoom. We were going to do a bit where he was going to be my Wonka correspondent, but he wasn't going to have anything. But he can only do it over phone, and so I don't want to do the whole the phone thing. So, but thank you, Dee Dee, for the offer. Who would have been rejoining us from the Weekend at Bernie's episode. But let's move on to to Christy. Let's talk about this motherfucker right here. Josh, can you tell us what happened to Christy?
I knew you were going to ask. Absolutely not.
I did.
Absolutely not.
I usually, when I write my notes, I'll write the title, and then I'll write dash, and then I'll write summary, and this one I added a question mark to the end of it. I guess because me and Paul have seen it the most. We've seen it at least 4 times at this point now, and I guess the best way to describe it, there's like 2 levels, because there's the experiential level of what you're experiencing while watching it, and then there's the mystery of why was this made, and what is the purpose of this. What is the meaning? There's the plot, and then there's underneath it the story. I'm burping a lot from my soda. Sorry. But on an experience level, the Christy is an 80-minute long movie, in quotes. That the first 60 minutes is a sort of the first 60 minutes is like a public access TV special about Santa and some elves and Jack Frost and a Yeti, I assume, named Tanglefoot, pictured here behind me.
God, a haunting man.
What a fuck up. In this hour, there is plot, sort of. There is incident. There are many, about a half dozen songs by country musician Frank Worley. It's a special effects extravaganza. And then in the last 20 minutes, Santa pets animals.
Who did not want to be petted.
Who largely don't want to be petted, or who seem to probably, the vibe you get from it, especially having watched it a bunch, is that these are animals that probably know this man, but don't know this man in a Santa suit with a camera next to him, and so certain animals, like the closer an animal is to being like the type of animal that you would have as a pet, the more the animal is kind of chill with him. So the coyote, for instance, which is like a hop skipping away from a dog, is like pretty chill with him. And yeah.
I was still very much a wild animal.
Yes. Yeah. But not, not like afraid of him or anything.
Right.
It recognizes him.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, what did you think? Because we've watched this every year I'll get into the origins of it in a second, but you watched it by yourself, Josh, which I can't imagine is the ideal way to watch watch the film.
No, it's not. I definitely will join next year. I think it'll be very fun with a group. But yeah, it's incomprehensible, and mainly because I was like doing work on my computer and had it on in the background.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when I do that with a movie, I'll be like, oh, I must have missed something. This doesn't make sense. I'll, rewind 30 seconds and I'll be like, oh, okay, I missed that line. I kept looking up and he just kept petting animals. And I was like, there has to be something here that I'm not getting. Because I think I missed the line in the beginning where the one elf says, like, I want the animals to have Christmas too. And if you miss that one line, the last 30 minutes are a complete fever dream. I mean, they are anyway, but like, especially if you have no idea why you out there doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, it really comes down to the sound for me. That was the most impressive standout part to me, was just a completely disassociative sound, removed entirely from what was happening on screen.
Oh yeah, the production values are like pretty atrocious. Well, I think what's weird about the production values is that, and this I think kind of goes into the like mystery of what is this movie. I'm gonna call it a movie. I'm not gonna do quotes every time. For better or worse, listen, I'm a big tint guy. This is technically cinema in my opinion. I think just because you don't like a movie doesn't mean it's not a movie. And so I think this is still a movie, even if it's on a technical level. But the production values in this, in terms of like video quality and editing and sound, are atrocious. But what's weird is that, one, there's access to all these animals, and two, there are like props and sets that aren't great or anything, but are clearly at a level of quality higher than the video and audio production, which sort of leads, I think we have over the years, what we think it is there is, wherever this is located, there's this place, and they have a kind of wildlife preserve / maybe there's even parts of it where you can interact more directly with the animals. Maybe they do little shows sometimes. They, people can come and look, things like that, petting zoo type thing. And they have a lot of Christmas themed stuff, and they maybe even do Christmas themed, little presentations. And they wanted, and maybe they knew the guy who ended up doing the songs for this, and they decided they wanted something they could sell at the gift shop. And we're pretty sure that that's what this is. That's what it feels like. But yeah,
that makes sense, because in the end credits there's a phone number. There's a phone number for like a wildlife thing. So I assumed that it was something like that. Like it's all like just a publicity thing to get money for this wildlife foundation.
Well, yeah. Paul, you should tell your story.
Oh yeah. So I think the first time we watched this,
the first Christy-Mas.
And we'll get into the origin of why we watched this, I guess. But I was taken aback by it. I enjoyed it extremely much, and some of this might have been, I was a little inebriated. And I thought, here's the number on the back and the end of the thing. I want to call it, and I'm calling it thinking either out of service or I'll get some sort of message. I was just curious, what is this number? And then I called it.
And it should be noted, it's like I think it's a 1-800 number listed.
It's a 1-800 number, and this is maybe 11 at night in LA.
I don't think it was like 10 at night in LA.
10 at night, yeah. And I called it, and this woman picked up, and she's like, hello? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I watched your movie, Christy, and I really enjoyed it. She's like, okay, well, well, it's 12 in the morning here. I just felt really bad. I just woke this poor woman up.
Presumably, Mrs. Claus is who I would have
I would
guessed.
think it might be Mrs.
Sure.
Claus. Then again, Mrs.
Wow.
Claus is pretty old in this, and it was what, like
20
over
years
20
ago.
years ago. So who knows? But yeah, what I guess to touch back on the production of this, I think what it reminds me a lot of is like a Christmas pageant. Almost. Like it's a Christmas pageant that people put on film but have no filmmaking experience. They're like, oh, we can film this Christmas pageant idea that we have and sell it at the gift shop, but of course they have no filmmaking experience or ability, and so that's what you get.
Yeah,
and
it's
I think it is of that tradition, and yeah, like you said, putting it in the gift shop, that's got to be the motivation.
Yeah, it's where we found it, like a lot of things. I have a couple main taps for movies I source for our movie night, and one of them is Red Letter Media and just the stuff they watch. This was like a random Christmas episode thing, and specifically, there's a clip you can find online. One of the main guys, Mike, who is kind of the more stoic of the guys, I would say, in terms of how much he laughs. So the times that he really cracks up are very notable. And the scene where Jack Frost talks to Tanglefoot in the cave and you just can't hear any of what they're saying. There's a clip online from that episode. You can find it separately where it just like cracks his brain and he just like can't stop laughing. And I remember seeing that during the beginning of the pandemic, during the first year of the movie night, and being like, we should watch this. Like this looks like a hoot. And thankfully somebody had uploaded it, a VHS rip, to YouTube.
And I credit, like, Red Letter Media was great. That's where I started watching a lot of these bad movies too.
Yeah.
And it got us interested in it, and now we've sort of branched off in sort of different directions of bad movies.
Yeah. Yeah, and we now watch it we do it the first December. The first Monday of every December is Christy-Mas, the day where we watch Christy. And it's a hoot. I had a couple of smaller things to touch on. One thing I wanted to bring up, two very small things, is one is how funny it is, him going uh-oh at the end of the movie every couple seconds when he's dressed up as Santa, and like a bobcat will be like have its like haunches up because it's like, what the fuck. You'll hear this.
You don't like that too much.
This voiceover, uh-oh, Mr. Bob's not too happy to see me. And I think also something that I always forget about, and I made sure to write it down, and I always remember it as I'm watching the movie, is the timeline of the movie. I don't know if you caught this, Josh, because they do these things where it's like it starts presumably, it opens on what seems to be Santa landing after a successful Christmas trip.
Right.
And then we have a really shitty title card in the corner that says like 5 months later for half a second. And then after that we have some better title cards that are like, you know, like they do the next day at one point, which is really funny for a movie that's jumping 5 months. Like, oh, the next day, or no, I remember what it is they do 2 days later, so that way we know that there's a day in between that they did something. And but then they keep doing this thing where it's like September, like August, September, October, and then it has a subtitle that's November, and then in parentheses the next year. And we've been mystified by this subtitle. Or I have been ever since the first time I watched it, because like my brain wants to go, does they mean like 13 months later? Or is this I think what they're trying to do is they mean like November of the next year, as in this is the next Christmas
Yes,
from
I
the
think
last
so.
year. And I don't think it's
very
supposed to be
unclear.
a big time jump there, but it's really funny every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I wondered that too, because I was like, is Christy supposed to be getting up on her feet? Not that Christy matters at all ultimately to
Yeah.
the plot of this movie.
We haven't
But
even really
isn't the
talked
idea that
about
she's
the
supposed to-
plot.
Yeah, right. But then, like the last half hour, does Christy even come up? Is she there?
She helps pull the sleigh, I guess. Technically, we
course,
see
of
we
Yeah,
course.
see.
presumably she's the reason that he can get into the woods
Mhm.
for some reason,
course.
because he couldn't have gotten into the woods
We
without
do
a small reindeer.
we do see like that Terry Gilliam animation of like them
Oh, yeah.
like flying, and there's like a single reindeer. The plot of the movie is that there's very succinctly without mentioning, there's a couple of side plots that I have here. But the main plot is that there's an elf who's sad and crying because kids are annoying. So ... she wants to bring Christmas to the animals. But Santa can't do it because of he needs another reindeer. So they get Christy, who is allegedly Santa's first female reindeer, though I don't know what the canon would have to say about that. I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like Vixen is probably not a dude, but that's just my guess.
It's just sassy. It's just-
And and then so they train Christy and make him a sleigh so he can bring Christmas to the animals, and then the last 20 minutes is him bringing Christmas to the animals, which equivalents to drunk Santa kind of just interacting with these animals who aren't really stoked about him being there. It does have like a weird inadvertent great narrative structure, because it does build, because the end of it, the last animal, the coyote, really is the star of the show, I think, and really adorable. I don't know if you have anything, Paul, to say about Mr. Coyote.
Oh, he's a goofy little coyote. He steals Santa's bag
Yeah.
and will give it back. Santa's kind of frustrated. He's just like, "Oh, coyote's got my bag,"
Yep.
and then he realizes he can't get it back. And
Yeah.
it's just like, "Oh well," I forgot what he says, but he just kind of gives up.
It's just the coyote's got the bag and he's doing little circles and trying to playing keep away with Santa, essentially the way a dog would, more or less, and it's just adorable.
Yes.
And I mean, in general, the cute animals are probably the actual best part of the movie, in terms of if you're thinking about if you're not thinking about the way our sick and twisted minds derive pleasure.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
it's certainly not the fucking haunting Jack Frost ball making its little murmurs and giggles as it floats around.
Oh yeah.
Really unsettling shit.
That was the two main side plots I was going to bring up are Tanglefoot and Jack Frost, our two supporting characters. Also, the other picture I almost picked for this was the time when Santa is away from the North Pole and he has to use a phone booth. And there's just a shot of Santa getting out of a phone booth. 'Cause I guess he doesn't have like a communicator or something. I mean, it was only
I was thinking about, where do they get that phone booth?
Yeah.
Why is but it's just a phone booth in the middle of the woods.
I think the other star of the show is Tanglefoot, a Yeti who wants to help but is extremely clumsy, at least until the end of the movie, in which he isn't clumsy anymore because that's the way movies work. And I think the funniest thing about him is that every time he shows up, all the elves get like really upset with him, and and that's my joke I do every year now. Whenever we watch those scenes is in the middle, because it'll just be like three young women like just being like Tanglefoot, oh Tanglefoot, it's like overlapped, and in the middle of that I'll just add like, oh Tanglefoot, you big fuck up, why don't you just go kill yourself? Because that's kind of like the tone of what they're giving him.
Well, he just won't fuck off.
Yeah,
like they're
that's
clearly trying
That's
to
true.
get him to leave, and he's just like, no, I want to insert myself in the situation.
Yeah.
And they're just getting very frustrated with him, because it just makes things worse, and he's unwelcome. Anyway,
And then Jack Frost
That
shows up.
overlap-
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, as a purple ball. That overlapping dialogue was what maybe my favorite part of the horrible production design, especially when like somebody starts a line, somebody else starts their line, and the first person just stops talking. Like, clearly an accident. Like this isn't a Robert Altman,
Yeah.
experience. It's very much accidental every time.
Oh yeah. There's so many good moments. Or like when like those long Gene Dealman-esque shots of the elves and Mrs. Santa just painting the peanut butter pine cones.
Yeah.
Or the bit that I always use to go to the bathroom is when Jack Frost is painting flowers for 10 hours.
Yeah.
Because that part goes on for a really long time. But what a hoot. Just gather your friends, get some eggnog. Make sure it's got something in it, to be honest. It'll probably help the experience. But yeah. Anything else
Yeah,
about
it was great.
Christy?
I'm excited
We've
that I've welcomed
covered-
Christy into my life.
Covered a lot of Christy.
Before we move on to the game, I wanted to very briefly just talk about. I specifically didn't refresh my memories for this, and we're skipping some horror movies and some few weirdo Christian movies because we might focus on them in a later episode. But I wanted to touch on some of the other Christmas movies we watched for movie night. The two that I really can't remember is the first 2 years we watched Home Alone 4 and 5. Paul, do you remember anything about Home Alone 4 and 5?
Which one was the one with the 30 Rock? I mean, the Third Rock from the Sun guy.
French Stewart.
French Stewart.
Playing Daniel Stern's character, but dressed as Joe Pesci's character. That was the fourth one.
That one, I just remember him being extremely awkward. And that's pretty much, and just really cringy. And that's pretty much all I remember from those.
I mostly remember that one because of the fact that Red Letter Media did an episode with Macaulay Culkin where he watched that movie with them. So like it sticks out in my memory for that reason. But I remember from us watching it, I remember the fifth one more because I remember it being weirder, where there was like a subplot where they thought the house was haunted and like the criminals came and they thought the criminals were ghosts or something. And also the parents, the reason they weren't at home and had left their kids alone there was that they were stuck at drunk, I think, Ed Asner's Christmas party. Do you remember that at all, Paul?
No, I really do not.
We can move on.
Is the fifth one
Honestly, there's a lot of
newer
like
one?
movies from this Monday night movie night thing, like even beyond Home Alone, the two Home Alones that I've just mixed together in my brain.
Yeah.
And I forget a lot of them.
No, for sure. And no, that's Home Alone 6, Home Sweet Home Alone, the new one.
Okay.
No, we thought about doing that one last year to continue it, but then we were like, this looks too good. Like, this doesn't look like a movie. This doesn't, we kind of, part of our sick joy we get sometimes is watching stuff that you can kind of tell maybe some of the people were deeply ashamed by making. And the Home Sweet Home Alone had the vibe of, and part of it I'm sure is just modern, like the way corporate IP is like treated now as opposed to even just 10 years ago. But it definitely had more of the vibe of people like actually having fun and wanting to make a fun Home Alone movie, and not like Malcolm McDowell or whoever played the bad guy and Five having to pay off his debts to somebody. Edwin, have you seen Home Alone 4 or 5?
guess-
Hold on. Wait, hold on a second. Repeat. I've seen four is the one without Macaulay and the one that has like a dude that's like Ernest but younger. Am I right?
That is 3. Well, I mean, no, 3 is the one without that character. 3.
No, I mean like four. Four is like a TV movie, right?
Yes. Well, yeah, it's 4.
Yeah, that one
4
sucks.
was like a pilot. You can kind of tell when you watch it. It was kind of it's like 3 episodes almost like structured together, like filmed in a way that they could cut it up into the first 3 episodes of a show, or they could edit it like this if they wanted to.
It's kind of like Mulholland Drive.
Yeah. Yeah, very similar to Mulholland Drive, I would say. This year we watched 2 other movies. We watched something I'd never seen either of these, but 8 Crazy Nights. Has anyone besides me and Paul seen that? Yeah.
I have.
Not a particularly good movie.
No.
Good animation, I would say. The animation, or at the very least, maybe just in the context of how much 3D stuff you see these days, just like seeing the 2D. It was worked on by a lot of the people who did The Iron Giant, apparently, and you can actually
that I can see that.
Weirdly, it has like the animation has a vibe, and the structures of the songs are actually pretty decent, I would say. And Adam Sandler has a pretty good singing voice. Weirdly,
unfortunately, that's a technical foul has become a running line in our house, and so it just tortures me. But
technical foul.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I was surprised when I saw the credits that the girl singer is Alison Krauss. Very talented.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, the singing voice of the like romantic lead of the movie. The talking voice is Adam Sandler's real Jackie Titone, I think.
Okay.
Sandler's real wife.
Yeah, I
explain why she's not good.
I was kind of hoping. I watched it for the first time like 2 years ago, and just kind of with I feel like Adam Sandler's had a real like critical and cultural reevaluation. We appreciate that all the stuff he did was great, and I was like, oh, maybe this will surprise. And it's like, oh no, this is probably how he got that bad reputation in the first place that he's now worked to overcome.
Yeah, no, yeah. 30 seconds in, when you get Rob Schneider voicing an Asian waiter,
yes,
you're like, whoa.
Yeah. And it's just it's one thing. It's surprisingly not really about Hanukkah.
No.
It's not really a holiday movie. It's
more about basketball.
Yeah. And like thematically, really the only thing thematically about the holidays is this weird reverence towards like commercialism. It's the mall is like a religious figure.
Mm-hmm.
Like a place of worship where that you go to pray to.
That's probably the actually most interesting thing about the movie is that weird subplot in that song where Adam Sandler goes to the mall and all the icons from the brands come alive and chastise him and teach him the meaning of Hanukkah or whatever. And really bizarre. Have you seen that movie, Edwin?
I know of its history, and I know that it's got Schneider playing some interesting characters as always.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Yeah.
Yeah, it's and also deers eating shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does have deers eating
There's
shit.
some shit jokes.
Yeah, who
Um,
told Adam Sandler you could do an animated movie?
There's a couple of funny jokes. He could probably do a good animated movie.
There was one joke I genuinely laughed at, but I forgot what it was.
I think the one that made me laugh the hard, like the actual best joke, is when the mayor says a joke like during a speech, and people are like laughing at it, and it keeps escalating to the point that like people are like breakdancing in the middle of the auditorium because they're laughing so hard. And I think that joke structure of people overreacting to something is always funny. And
I remember the joke. It was his Whitey's sister, who's like also voiced by Adam Sandler. It's very whiny. It's like kind of awkward, kind of like Jill and Jack and Jill. But she like Whitey, her brother comes home very late, and she's like, "Where were you? I tried calling the morgue, but they said to try again later." I thought that was a funny joke.
That's good.
that is a
It
good
was
joke.
like-
That's a good joke.
Like a
Yeah.
George
Yeah,
Gissel,
I mean,
like,
Adam Sandler is a funny guy. You know, you make an 80-minute long movie that has a lot of jokes. Some of them are going to be funny. Like you could probably cut about 10 minutes of that movie out and show it to someone and convince them that it's actually a very good, funny movie. The problem is the remaining like 70 minutes, which are kind of grating and oftentimes a little sort of foul.
Yeah.
And yeah. But the last thing I wanted to talk about, and Paul left the room before doing this, and he'll just have to come back to it, is we watched Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas this year.
I wish I could have been there for that. That is not one I will ever watch on my own, and it doesn't sound like you'll be watching it again.
No, it is. I think the weirdest thing about it, well, one, it is the least a movie has ever been a movie that I've watched. Like, it is like Christy is more of a movie than Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas, despite the fact that Saving Christmas certainly has better production values than Christy, but Christy has like incident and plot in it, whereas Saving Christmas is like, I would say at a minimum 60% and probably closer to like 80% Kirk Cameron and his friend, played by the director, sitting in a car talking about Christmas, and Kirk Cameron, like, essentially it's almost like a video essay. It's a lot of Kirk Cameron trying to talk his friend down. And what's the most interesting thing about it is, and Josh, you're perfect for this because I'm sure you don't know much about this movie, but who and what do you think Kirk Cameron is saving Christmas from?
I mean, I assumed liberals.
Yeah, and political correctness.
Right.
Well, in fact, you would be fucking wrong, idiot. It's the plot of this movie is that his friend, I'm just gonna call the characters Friend and Kirk Cameron. Friend is upset because he's so Christian, and when he looks around and sees this extravagant Christmas that him and his wife have gotten, he sees all of the commercialism that has corrupted Christmas and taken over Christianity, and Kirk Cameron is there to argue, actually, capitalism is good and commercialism is good, and all these things that make you upset and feel like they're not about God, it's actually okay because it's chill and Christmas is cool.
And also, it's funny because his arguments are terrible.
Yeah,
like
that's
from
true.
a theological standpoint or whatever. Like, I remember one of them is like the guy is like, what does a tree have to do with Christmas?
Well, and
Kirk Cameron's like,
and
well,
it should be known that the Christmas tree is originally a pagan pagan like thing you do for like the winter solstice that was adapted into Christianity.
yeah, and the explanation is like, well, actually, and Kirk Cameron, his character is so smug and about this, which is so annoying.
That's
He's like,
shocking.
actually, you are wrong. The Christmas tree was in the Bible because Jesus hung on like a cross, which was made of wood.
And
So
and he also said that like the Bible starts in a Christmas tree lot because that's kind of what the forest of Eden, Garden of Eden is, and that's basic. That is those 2 points are literally his entire argument. And then they talk about he talks about Santa Claus, the friend. He's like, Santa's not in the Bible, and then probably the actual unironically best part of the movie, because for like 5 minutes Kirk Cameron just starts talking about the real history of the Chris he wasn't Chris, was his name Chris Kringle or Saint Nicholas or whatever? Was
Saint Nicholas. I think
Saint
Chris
Nicholas.
Kringle is a modern.
Yeah. Sorry, but Saint Nicholas, who was like a genuine, I think, guide when Christianity was more heavily scrutinized and Christians were actually being prejudiced upon. Hundreds or however many years ago. I don't know the actual history, but you're watching it, and maybe it's like, I'm sure it's like being bullshitted in some way for his point of view, but it's like the one moment when there's like half a story happening for like 2 seconds because he's like telling this history, but what's funny about it is it's probably a not half bad argument, in the sense of like establishing why you would celebrate Santa Claus in the context of Christmas. But it doesn't address what his friend's issue is, which is commercialism and the way things have been tainted by that. Because if that is true about Santa Claus, it almost makes his friend's point even stronger, because he didn't know that's who Santa Claus was. You know what I mean? And that nobody does. What a weird movie.
Anyway,
Might be an understatement, but let's time. Edwin, are you still with us? Do you have anything to say about Kirk Cameron saving Christmas?
No. And
okay.
Kirk Cameron,
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I don't
fucking
disagree.
piece of shit. He used to be on one of the most popular TV shows, and he just went nuts.
Yeah.
So fuck him and fuck his Christianity.
I don't disagree. But let's move on.
Oh god damn it.
A very special
It's gonna be a nightmare.
Welcome to Connor's Wicked Games, sponsored by Chris Isaac. Every week, like Jigsaw, I like to play a little game, and this week we have the spectacular Cinema Curse Advent Calendar. Isn't this working? Let me adjust my notes a little bit. I'm going to. You guys are seeing the Advent calendar. You guys can see that, right? You're seeing my whole GIMP screen.
Yeah.
People at home are just seeing the middle part of it. You guys will take turns opening doors. You don't have to do them in any order. Behind each door is a clue and a picture that indicates one of the 37 movies featured this year on Cinema Curse. And so I'll give a couple of examples. I'll eliminate actually four of the movies that we talked about. And And I'll go ahead and say that Wonka and Christy are on the table. They are answers to two of these.
Mhm.
Okay.
But an example clue, it's kind of like crossword clues, and I tried to make them sort of Christmas themed, kind of religious. I cut this one because it wasn't really, it was more just religious themed. But originally I had Killing God with a Cross Part 1 as a clue for Mission Impossible 7. I should also clarify, when I say featured, what I mean is, for example, we had an episode called David Gordon's Scream featuring the Exorcist Believer. So that episode featured Exorcist Believer, but not his Halloween movies, even though we talked about them. As opposed to the Weekend at Bernie's special, which featured both movies, even though technically we don't explicitly say Weekend at Bernie's 2 in the title. I'll also give some demographics. I'm giving a bunch of information for this one up top. Some info about the movies. 20 of the 37 that we talked about that were featured were released this year, were 2023 movies.
Yeah.
2 of the other 17 were released in the last 5 years. 4 of the remaining 15 were Monday Night Movie Night films. 6 of the remaining 11 were like grouped into series that we talked about in like one episode, and the remaining 5 were all Edwin picks. The 4 that I mentioned above, Exorcist, Weekend at Bernie's 1 and 2, and Mission Impossible 7, are not included. And I'll tell you guys afterwards. I have a list of the 8 that I didn't put in. I
feel like I'm not going to get many of these, but we'll figure it out.
We'll see how it goes. Half of the answers are worth 1 point, some are worth 2, a few are worth 3, and a few get you a lifeline. Think Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Once you see the clue, the picture, and what it's worth, you can answer. If you get it right, you get the whatever it's worth. If you get it wrong, it stays open for someone else to answer on their turn. You only get one chance to answer thing per turn. And if it stays on the board long enough and you guys all guess and get it wrong, I might do like a Monopoly and put it up for bid and give you guys more and more clues until someone like shouts it out. Or you can, after opening a door, you can choose another door, including one that's already been opened. But if you do that, the one you left behind increases in value and is worth an additional point for someone else to grab if they want to. Them's the rules, and I'm sticking to them.
Let's do it.
Let's let Edwin. Which door do you want to open first, Mr. Edwin Gomez?
I'd take 13 for 200, Alex.
13, right smack dab in the middle, baby. 13. Oh, that's a picture of Eric Andre pretending to be a blind man with walking a dog. The clue for number 13 is you shouldn't get someone a dog for Christmas, but especially if they're going to do this shit. And it's worth 1 point. Can you name the movie?
God.
Or do you want to try a different door?
So this isn't Christmas movies or anything.
No, it's movies we've talked about on the show, and it's Edwin's turn right now because I feel like, yeah, you don't.
Oh, I see. So we can't.
Not right now, but he might leave it open for you.
I think I know what it is.
Or do you want to try open another door?
Repeat the question again, Alex.
You shouldn't get someone a dog for Christmas, but especially if they're gonna do this shit.
I'll take 14, 200, Alex.
Let's try 14. All right. Well, 13 is still on the board and is now worth 2 points. 14. That is a picture of a grainy picture of a spooky man. And the clue for this one is, and it's worth 1 point, silent, unmoving, endless night. What movie is this talking about?
I'll take Silent Night, Deadly Night for 300, Alex.
That is wrong. But
fuck you.
It stays open. Let's go around. Paul, what would you like to do? You can choose to answer something that's already open.
I will choose to answer 13,
Yes. What do you think
and
it is?
I will say a movie we watched at Monday Night Movie Nights, Love on a Leash.
That is correct, Paul. It is
On the
indeed
board.
Love on a Leash. That's 2 points for you, Paul. And I believe I can do. I'm gonna do. How does this work? This isn't dragging up. I'm trying to. I might need to move this over. Hopefully, this doesn't mess up the. What the heck? What the heck?
Oh no, I didn't get it.
No, it's on there. I'm just trying to. I'm trying to move it. Trying to move the layer, you know,
Get out of here,
like
layer.
above where the numbers are, so it'll cover it, so we know it's already been completed. But it does not seem to want to cooperate with me.
You could just draw an X over it.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. Let me add a new layer. Oh, great! I added a layer in the wrong place. Okay, and we'll just do a big, fat X.
Or you can do a P for Paul.
We'll do that.
Or it doesn't matter.
Now, Josh, what would you like to try your hand at 14, or do you want to open another door?
No, I'll open 5.
5. What's behind 5? Oh, that is a picture of an IMAX screening room. This is worth 1 point, and the clue is the magma hot heart of a star on top of the tree.
Man, I don't know. Did you guys do Volcano?
It is not Volcano. Edwin, it's back to you.
Oh, Oppenheimer.
It was indeed.
Oh,
That is Oppenheimer.
I didn't even try. I just guessed it.
It is indeed correct. Like I said,
Wow.
most of the movies, more than half of the movies we talked about were from this year. So
Sure.
that's a good thing to keep in mind. Back to you, Paul. Do you want to try 14 or open another door?
Skip straight to the end and go 25.
25, baby. Looks like there we've got that is a Google image. There's a Google search for Black Friday deals on stock footage. And the clue there is written, directed, and starring everyone's favorite Jesus figure.
Everyone's favorite Jesus figure. Because with Black Friday, I was going to guess something we watched in theaters. But is
It's
this person a Jesus figure?
Well, and specifically, it's Black Friday deals on stock footage.
Oh. This is Cade the Tortured Crossing.
That is indeed Cade the Tortured Crossing, the Neil Breen film that we talked about earlier this year. Certainly my favorite Jesus figure.
Yes, I know he is a Jesus figure.
Josh, your turn.
All right, I'll do 17.
17. Behind door number 17. Oh, you got the easy one. It's a piece of chocolate. The clue is something chocolate. I hope this one isn't picked first. It's worth 1 point.
Wonka.
It's Wonka. or as Shrek would say, Wonka.
Wonka.
Edwin, your turn.
I'll take 1 for 200, Alex.
Number 1. That is a picture of McDreamy and McSteamy from Grey's Anatomy. And the clue here for 1 point is pre-gaming.
What?
Pre-gaming.
That's an answer?
That's the clue. It's
The fuck
talking
is
about
that?
a movie.
I need a better clue than that, man.
Well, and there's also the picture of McDreamy and McSteamy from Grey's Anatomy. Do you want to pick a different thing? If you do, this will be worth more
I'll pick a
points.
different one. I'll pick 3, Alex.
3. Let's look behind door number 3. Behind door number 3 is a picture of
God
mentalists from the 1920s. The clue here, this is a 2-point question. Unofficial title for one of Santa's head elves in charge of marionettes and such. Do you know the? Do you know
God
this one?
damn it. Okay, I'm gonna go back to 1. I'm
You
gonna
can't.
say Thanksgiving.
You can't,
You
unfortunately.
cannot do that. That's against the rules.
That is against the
Yeah,
rules.
I'm going against the fucking rules.
All right, Paul, it's your turn. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna guess 1.
Yeah.
Pre-gaming for a hospital. I will say the Jackass movie. What's it called? Jackass Forever.
That is incorrect.
Incorrect. Is it called
Josh.
something else? Okay, it's probably not any of these.
I mean, I'll just go ahead and say this. I cut off Edwin. Edwin could have said the right answer, and
I didn't hear it.
Right.
what
I know
everyone was
that's the thing. That was my guess, like immediately. So I'll go for it. Number 1 is it Thanksgiving?
it is Thanksgiving. Yes.
Oh.
Connor, fuck you! You gave me a fucking dumb question. Doesn't make any
You should
sense.
have thought about it for 2 seconds. You actually knew the answer, and you just didn't think about it. It's your
Wait,
turn.
I don't get it.
It's pre-gaming,
It's
like
pre-game.
Thanksgiving is pre-gaming for Christmas because it's Christmas themed, And-
Oh, I see.
You
and
could have made anything.
and McDreamy because it's Patrick Dempsey.
Oh, right.
God, you're evil, man. I want my questions. I want the Edwin question. Let's go.
All right, Edwin, you get to pick again. What do you want?
24, Alex.
Want to do 4? Behind 4, that's a picture of
Yeah, I hate that guy.
Ansel. Yeah, I kind of, when I was making this, sort of forgot about some of that, but that's a picture of Ansel Elgort from Baby Driver listening to music, and the clue here, this is worth 1 point, is constantly listening to Christmas music while you work.
Huh.
What movie?
What?
What movie have we talked about that would this indicate? Constantly listening to Christmas music while you work.
Shit. I can't think of it. Who would listen to nonstop Christmas music? No, not that one.
Well, and remember, the clues are kind of abstract, so I might be indicating something else by what I'm saying. So don't take the clues to be exactly literal.
I'm gonna pick another
Because you-
box.
You want to pick another box? Okay.
I'm gonna pick another box. This is too much.
All
This
right.
is too much.
What do you want to pick?
I'm gonna pick 2, Alex.
2. We got that whole top row open, baby. And this one you have to answer. You can't go back once you unlock it. Okay.
Hide.
All right, 2. That is a picture of a radio station with a large full moon behind it. And the clue for this one, this is worth 2 points, is he came down to Earth to oppose our sins.
For Cameron.
Unfortunately, no, that is not correct. Paul, do you want to open a new one or try out your hand at one of these already opened ones?
Let's try my hand. I actually haven't seen this movie yet, but I know it came out this year, and it reminded me of Baby Driver a little bit because of the music.
Mm-hmm.
Is The Killer.
That is correct.
Oh,
That number 4
yeah.
is
I was gonna take that.
indicating the killer.
Damn.
That is correct. Josh,
Good job,
your turn.
man. Can I ask what was the clue for number 3 again?
For sure. Unofficial title for one of Santa's head elves in charge of marionettes and such.
I'm not sure. I'll go 20.
20, baby. 20, we got... Oh, that's a picture of Mr. Gene Hackman dressed up as Santa Claus from the movie The French Connection. And this clue... this one, we got our first... this is a lifeline one. So this isn't worth any points. But it gets you something called a point keeper, which is... You know how Edwin has been opening them and not liking them and then moving on and making that thing worth an extra point? What this lifeline does is you get to use it when you do that, and you get that point immediately instead.
Okay.
And the clue for this one is 2 little elves. This is a long one. 2 little elves run all over the North Pole, selling and stealing cookies illegally in order to take down a major toy dealer.
Go to sleep.
Man. I don't know.
You don't
I'm not
know?
sure.
Do you wanna
No.
pick another box?
Sure. I'll do 21.
Okay. 21. Oh, that's a picture of an old style military cannon. And this one worth 3 points. The clue here is being lazy and just bringing the dip to the potluck, but you're really good at dancing.
Oh God.
That's tough.
Yeah. Good dancing. I don't know. Drumline. Nick Cannon.
As
Nick
incorrect.
Cannon's drumline.
Edwin,
All
what do you want to select on this board?
What was the question for 21? What is it?
21. 21
Yeah.
was it's a picture of a cannon, and it's being lazy and just bringing the dip to the potluck, but you're really good at dancing.
Okay, I'm gonna go with 24, Alex.
You want to open 24?
I'm gonna open 24, man. All right.
Goodness.
That is a stock image photo of Martin Short as Jiminy Glick. And the clue for that one is King of Kings.
What does that even mean? What does it mean?
It's a clue. It's like
Jesus is the King of Kings.
it's like a crossword puzzle.
King Kong? I don't know.
That is incorrect. Paul.
I am going to go with 3,
Uh-huh.
and it's a movie watched at Monday Night Movie Nights, Puppet Master.
That is indeed Puppet Master.
I'm getting the hang of the clues.
Yes. Yes, the clues are a little abstract. Like I would compare them to crossword puzzle clues, in which sometimes you look at them after you figured them out and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And so I apologize. Josh, it is
I'm liking
back
it.
to you.
No, that was my classic. I was gonna guess Puppet Master, but I wasn't sure if you had done it. So that was
Yeah.
the good clue. Is purely me not
We were
having lack
doing
of
the
self-confidence.
full moon. We had a full moon series.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. I'll do number 9.
Number nine. Number 9. That is a picture of Michael Emerson, I believe on the TV show Lost, pushing a giant wheel covered in ice, which did something on the island. And the clue for this one, worth 2 points, is one wise man visits a few hundred years too early.
Hmm.
I'm gonna pass out.
What did you do last night again? It's vague.
Smoke and drive.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Um. What was the clue for 2 again?
He came down to Earth to oppose our sins.
That sounds like some dumb Neil Brain movie.
I have an idea about what it is. And I might go with it next.
Man. I don't know. I don't want to keep opening them all.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll go for 10. I'll check 10.
Okay, let me open 10. Well, that's a picture of Kevin McAllister in the airport during the events of Home Alone 2. The clue here worth 1 point is watch him light up Christmas again.
What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean?
It's you got to think about it. It's
Die Hard
clues are
2.
riddles.
Josh, you are correct. That is Die Hard 2.
Yes.
Okay.
That is indeed Die Hard 2. Edwin, what do you wanna pick?
I'm gonna go with 15, Alex.
All right, 15. What's under 15? Oh, that's a close up of the Terminator.
Yeah.
And the clue
Yeah,
here, and this is worth a point keeper lifeline that allows you to open another box. This clue is this toy was recalled.
Did we talk about it? Jingle All the Way?
Incorrect. Paul?
Fuck
Your
you!
turn.
I am going to go with 2.
Uh-huh.
Continuing with our full moon theme, I will go with Bad Channels.
That is incorrect.
Oh,
I
I don't even remember if we did that this year or last year.
Josh?
What was it called? Boy was recalled. Is 15 Barbie?
It is not. Edwin. You want to
I'm gonna
open?
go 19, Alex.
You want to open 19?
19, you son of a bitch.
19 is a picture of a large empty warehouse, and
Damn it.
the clue. This one's worth 2 points. Satan, in his satellite workshop, trains his head elf. You got to think.
Repeat it again.
Satan, in his satellite workshop, trains his head elf. It's a movie we talked about this year. I don't know if you were on that episode, though, to be fair.
I'm gonna go with 18, Alex.
You wanna try to guess Guess 18. Let's look what's behind door number 18. That is a close up of, I believe, adult Simba from the shitty Lion King remake.
What is happening?
And this one,
The live action Lion
the
King.
live action quote unquote. This is also worth a lifeline. Something I'm calling 3367, which gives you a multiple choice. And the clue for this one is, what happens when you sing the exact same carols of old, but without all the passion?
What does that mean? What does that mean?
You just don't understand. You're just not on the right wavelength, Edwin. You just don't understand the clues I'm giving at you. They're abstract.
These are fucking evil.
They're like crossword puzzles. I love crossword
No, it's
puzzles.
not. It's worse than crossword puzzles.
And you have to like take out the Christmas element in your head. That's what I was kind of struggling with at
That's
first.
the thing. I'm stuck on Christmas, Josh. I'm stuck on Christmas.
We all are.
That's
Love it.
that's the flavor of the riddle.
Mm-hmm.
This should have been on Christmas, Connor.
Do you have a guess?
Repeat the fucking answer again.
What happens when you sing the exact same carols of old, but without all the passion?
God. Wonka.
Nope. That was already guessed. Do you want to try again? I'll let you try again because you weren't paying attention and Wonka was already guessed.
Can I have a better question
Nope.
to solve this riddle?
Can't you choose another box?
He already did that.
Oh, never mind. Forget it.
Just guess a movie we talked about this year.
Haunted Mansion.
No, we literally didn't. That was a bit that we weren't talking about it. Paul, it's your turn.
Oh,
I got 15, Mayim.
Yep. What is it?
It is Megan.
That is indeed Megan. You get a point keeper, so that when you open one and you don't know what it is, you can move something else and get an extra point.
Oh yeah, I forgot that's what it was.
By the end, if you haven't used it, I might convert that into 1 point. And I'll probably the other one I'll convert into like 2 points if someone has one of those by the end. Josh, it is back on you.
Okay. So many on the board. Can you be the Martin Short clue again, number 24?
24, King of Kings.
King of Kings.
Oh, I know what it is.
He's remembering my joke.
I'll open 8.
8. Let's see what's behind door number 8. Oh, that is a close up of that is the screens from the architect's room from The Matrix Reloaded, everyone's favorite movie. And this clue worth 1 point is 7 days short of the usual.
doesn't make any sense. These questions are evil.
Well, they're wicked.
I want the Edwin questions. I refuse to participate. I have to get my questions.
You got to think like Will Shorts.
Who the fuck is Will
Yeah.
Short?
The
Will
Crossword Man.
Shorts is the crossword man.
I don't know who he is.
Is it John Wick, chapter 4?
It is not, unfortunately. Edwin.
No.
I'll go ahead and I'll say this. 3 of the open doors are for movies that you picked.
Then why are the questions evil?
Because you're not thinking about it right. Do you want to try answering one of the ones? Can you see the board? Can you physically see it?
Yeah, I can see the fucking board, Connor.
Any of those images ring a bell to you?
What the fuck is 20 again?
The clue for 20 is two little elves run all over the North Pole selling and stealing cookies illegally in order to take down a major toy dealer.
Ah. Can I get that in non-Christmas terms?
Nope.
Is this one of my picks?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Just say yes, Connor.
Just make your guess, Edwin.
Or you can guess another box.
Repeat the question again, Connor.
One more time. Two little elves run all over the North Pole selling and stealing cookies illegally in order to take down a major toy dealer.
Is it a Chuck Norris movie?
Make a guess. Make a guess of a movie title name.
There's no drug dealers in that one.
And think about it in conjunction with the picture. Because the picture is part of the clue.
Does it have Gene Hackman in it?
I'm not answering that question. There's a reason I chose that picture. To help indicate the movie.
A drug operation. Drugs. Two cops. Fuck.
Come on, Edwin. Make a guess.
The Sonic music.
Yeah, I can start playing hold on, I got it right here. The
Just repeat the question one more time.
hold on a second. Two little elves run all over the North Pole selling and stealing cookies illegally in order to take down a major toy dealer.
God.
Make a guess.
I hate this so much.
Just name a movie you know we've talked about.
I can't. I'm so busy.
All right. Well, we got him.
Get taken to Beverly Hills.
Wrong. Edwin.
What?
I mean, Paul. Sorry.
Oh, I will go with 24 Meowum.
Yep.
Everyone's favorite movie about a king and a fat suit is Elvis.
That is indeed Elvis. Josh, your pick.
Open 7.
Let's see what's behind door number 7. Oh, that's a picture of a big old Christmas tree in 30 Rockefeller Center. And the clue for this one, this is worth 3 points. Quote unquote real mustache Santa investigates the orphans.
Okay, I'm gonna guess number 14, I think. Can you give me the clue for 14 again?
Yes. The clue for 14 is silent, unmoving, endless night.
Is it Haunting in Venice?
You're guessing 14?
Yeah.
That is wrong. Incorrect. Edwin.
I'm gonna guess 20 again. Lethal Weapon.
That's wrong. Paul.
Fuck you.
What's the clue for 19 again?
Satan in his satellite workshop trains his head elf.
Satan trains its head elf. Let's open a new door. I'm stumped.
Okay.
Okay, what was the clue for 8 again?
8 was 7 days short of the usual.
All right, fuck it. I'll go. Let's open 6.
All right, let's see. Behind door number 6. That's a picture of a crowd of people at SantaCon. And this one worth 2 points. The clue is missing a white elephant.
Missing a white elephant. Fuck, I don't know. I'll open another one.
Okay, I'll let you use your point keeper, so you get the point, and that one does not increase.
Wait, I didn't. Oh, okay. Doesn't increase.
It doesn't.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll go with 11.
11. 11. That is a picture of a funeral.
Oh, good.
And the clue here is this is really the only one that's even remotely connected to Hanukkah.
Wait, crazy. Nice. Wait. No. Wait, remotely connected to Hanukkah. Let me rethink this. Anyone remotely connected to Hanukkah? What? In a funeral? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'll guess 8 Crazy Nights because he said Hanukkah.
That is wrong. Josh, your turn.
Is 7 Haunting in Venice?
7 is Haunting in Venice.
It was partially that you paused after, but really then it was the 30 Rock. That was good.
Edwin, your turn.
Damn you to hell.
Is that your 12?
Wow.
That is a picture of Jennifer Tilly as Tiffany Valentine at the beginning of Bride of Chucky. And the clue here, this one's worth 3 points. Former Grinch is haunted by Christmas letters.
Oh, Christmas Carol.
Incorrect. Paul.
Fuck you! Fuck you! You fuck! You fucked up! Fuck this! Fuck this!
What was the clue to 18 again?
18 was what happens when you sing the exact same carols of old, but without all the passion.
Oh, it's not what I was thinking. And it's a lion. What's the clue for 21 again?
Being lazy and just bringing the dip to the potluck, but you're really good at dancing.
Damn it, I don't know. I'll open a new one.
Okay.
Let's open 23.
23. Oh, that's a close up of some pepperoni pizza, and the clue for this one is 4 turtle doves. It's worth 1 point.
4 turtle doves. It's the new Ninja Turtles.
Can you give me the subtitle on that?
Fuck if I know. No, I cannot give you the subtitle for the new Ninja Turtles movie.
I'll give it to you because you knew what the name,
thank you.
you knew what the movie is, and I would have accepted. You know, there's other ones here where if you were to give me the number and not the subtitle, I'd probably give it.
Okay.
To you. So
thank you.
That is indeed
I
Teenage
appreciate it.
Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem.
Okay, I would not have guessed that.
Josh.
Okay. Is 8 Crazy Nights?
It is not.
Hmm.
Edwin.
Sorry, I'm sending.
Give me 12. Again, you son of a bitch.
12. Former Grinch is haunted by Christmas letters.
What's that mean? Former Grinch. Give me 16. Give me 16.
All right. That is a picture from the Watchmen comic of Archie flying over the
goddamn.
prison. And the clue for this one, worth 1 point, is Azul Navidad.
Give me 22.
All right. Looks like we have everything open on the board now. 22. That is
At what point will this game just stop?
Well, we might have to start auctioning stuff off here in a second. 22 is a picture of a decrepit jet plane in the middle of a desert. And the clue is sitting under the mistletoe, waiting for father husband to notice. Any ideas, Edwin?
Airport 77.
That is incorrect.
You could burn in hell, man.
I'm gonna come. The other point keeper on the board is irrelevant because all the boxes are open. There are still two other. That one gets you 3367, as does 18 gets you 3367. Which basically is a tool that allows you to get like a multiple choice. You'll get two. I'll give you three choices, and it'll be one of those three. So it's like 50-50, but 3367 is the bit. Paul, let's go around until you once you're kind of out of juice and you think you don't know, like you don't have any ideas for what some of these would be, but I have a feeling some of you guys might have some guesses on some of these. So
I'm
Paul,
gonna guess something for 12.
Okay. What do you want to guess?
I'm gonna guess Last Night in Soho.
That is not.
Damn it.
Josh?
Is 16 Avatar too?
That is
Way of Water?
that is also not correct. Edwin?
I refuse.
You refuse? You don't have any guesses?
I
Okay.
refuse.
Well, he's going to abstain until you guys. I'll go back and forth between you guys until.
I think I got
To
one.
abstain. Paul, what do you think?
18, I'll go with The Little Mermaid.
Incorrect.
Damn it.
I was going to guess that too. Is 22 Priscilla?
22 is indeed Priscilla, which gets you a 3367. So you have a 3, or if you save it to the end, is worth 2 points.
Okay.
I
But
should have saved mine to the end earlier.
well, it was worth 1 point, so it's fine.
True.
You got the point anyways, and avoided. So you could use it if you wanted to. The ones worth 3 points on the board are 9, 12, and 19 and 21 are all worth 3 points.
So there are some movies that were covered that aren't on here besides the ones you already named, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Whose turn is it?
there are 8 movies that we talked about this year that are not part of this game, nor were they part of the 4 movies I mentioned before the game.
Okay.
Paul, back to you, I think, though.
What is a clue for 9?
9 was one wise man visits a few hundred years too early.
Wise man visits a few hundred years too early. And what is that a picture of?
It's from Lost. It's Michael Emerson has been spinning the big wheel underneath the island.
Oh. Ugh. I don't know. I'm kind of out of steam here.
Okay, you don't have any more guesses for anything?
No.
All right, Josh.
Can I get the clue for 11?
The clue for 11 is this is really the only one that's even remotely connected to Hanukkah.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Unfortunately, no.
No. I don't know.
Do you want to use your lifeline on one of the 3-point ones?
Sure, yeah. I'll do it for 21.
21. All right. Being lazy and just bringing the dip to the potluck, but you're really good at dancing. Let me think of what the other 2 options will be. Your 3, it's either Shiva Baby, Salsa the Motion Picture, or Barbie.
You son of a bitch.
Is it Salsa the Motion Picture?
It is. That's why there's a can in there.
Fuck you.
I was thinking it was a canon movie. But
Any more guesses, Josh? On any of these?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna convert that one to 2 points instead of the other lifeline, and let's just go down them. And I'm gonna give you guys the clues, and then I'm gonna start reading information, and these are all gonna be worth half a point less now.
Nightmare.
But we'll do this. So number 2, he came down to Earth to oppose our sins. This is a movie that stars Tim Thomerson. It was directed by Charles Band.
Doll Man. Do I know which? Do I have to know which Doll Man?
Do you want to elaborate on the title?
I mean, we have Doll Man versus Demonic Toys.
It is Dollman versus Demonic Toys.
Okay. There we go.
That being it's full moon, and it's a radio station to indicate bad channels, but then he came down to Earth.
I just guessed bad channels.
Yeah, that was a good guess. All right, number 6, missing a white elephant. Again, you guys just shout them out. This movie was directed by Bill Porter Sr. and John W. Porter.
Christy.
Because
First female reindeer.
he was quicker on the draw. I'm gonna give that to Josh. Number 8, 7 days short of the usual. This film was directed by Emma Tammy. And it is based on the video game series by Scott Cawthon.
Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's.
It is indeed Five Nights at Freddy's.
I figured you were doing 12 Days of Christmas. I just couldn't think of a movie with 5.
Yes. Number 9. This is a movie directed by James. The clue is one wise man visits a few hundred years too early. Directed by James Mangold. Starring Mr. Harrison Ford. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Antonio Banderas.
Oh, Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny.
It is indeed Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, in which he visits a few hundred years before Jesus would have showed up. I'll give a clue to 11 if anyone wants to guess. I mentioned it earlier, which this is really the only one that's even remotely connected to Hanukkah.
That's the clue. Fuck.
This is a movie directed by Emma Seligman, starring Rachel Sennett, came out a couple years ago during the pandemic
That Shiva
era.
baby.
It is Shiva Baby.
Oh.
Number 12. I'll go ahead and tell you, Edwin. I'll give you 12. This is one of the ones you picked. Was a
Hate you.
movie you picked. That's a picture of Jennifer Tilly, and the clue is former Grinch is haunted by Christmas letters. It's part of a series of films that you wanted us to talk about, and that we talked about on an episode. I'm helping Edwin because he's far behind in points. Who directed this one?
I don't know. Is it a Death Wish film?
It is not. It's directed by Richard Franklin, Edwin.
Richard Franklin.
And it stars Jennifer's sister. I'll tell you that.
Oh, Psycho 2.
That is indeed Psycho 2, in which Norman Bates is troubled by letters he seems to be getting from his mom.
God damn
Even though
you.
he's seemingly... number 14. That movie came out this year. That's Silent, Endless, Unmoving Night. Directed by Kyle...
Silent Night.
Skinamarink.
Yeah, it's Skinamarink. That is indeed
Lame.
Skinamarink. A movie.
You guys are cleaning up the ones where you have to know stuff about movies.
Number 16, that's Azul Navidad. That is a movie that came out this year, directed by Angel Manuel Soto.
Is it Blue Beetle?
It is indeed Blue Beetle.
Nice.
That was terrible.
Just
I
let's
just
see.
because it's Azul.
3 more. Oh, and we already got this one. 18, 19, and 20. I'll go ahead and tell you, Edwin. 18 and 20 are picks that you picked. Again, 18. What happens when you sing the exact same carols of old, but without all the passion? This is a movie directed by Gus Van Sant.
It's Psycho, the remake.
Yeah, that is indeed correct. That is the Psycho remake. Number 19, that is Satan in his satellite workshop trains his head elf. Who directed this movie? This is a movie directed by Kevin Greutert, starring Tobin Bell and Shawnee Smith.
Is it Saw X?
It is indeed Saw X.
I know it was Saw, and I couldn't remember the title.
Yeah.
And then last,
Because Tobin Bell was fuck is he in?
lastly, it doesn't even matter at this point. The no matter who gets this, the standings are going to be as they are. But Edwin, I'll give it to you. This was one that you picked. This was an episode. I'll say this: it was on a memorial episode that we talked about. 2 little elves run all over the North Pole, selling and stealing cookies in order to take down a major toy dealer.
Give me the director.
Well, do you look at the clue look at the visual clue I've given you with the picture?
Could mean anything, man.
Does anybody else have a guess on this one? It's a
No.
movie directed by
Just give me the director.
William Friedkin.
Cruising?
Is that about 2 little elves?
Oh, To Live and Die in L.A.
It is indeed To Live and Die in L.A., directed by William Friedkin, who directed Mr. Gene Hackman there, and
Oh, it's Gene Hackman.
whatever that fucking movie is, French Connection.
Can't really tell.
The 8 movies that weren't a clue or weren't given away at the beginning, just for the sake of mentioning them. And this was largely because I couldn't think of anything that I thought wasn't either too obvious or in 1 or 2 cases, possibly in poor taste. It was Barbie, Talk to Me, Bottoms, The Delta Force, Psycho 3 and 4, Killers of the Flower Moon and I Come in Peace, aka Dark Angel, were the other movies mentioned. Edwin, you got some of those right. You did come in last. Paul and Josh, you were pretty neck and neck, but Josh, you definitely pulled ahead in that last phase and got yourself a gold medal. But you guys all did well.
Congrats.
And
A good
Thank you.
game, everyone.
thank you guys.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Let me stop.
Thank you for making it.
Stop my screen sharing and go back to the main scene. Let me make a note of when I did that to make sure it doesn't look weird. And yeah, let me change my background. I'll change it to this right now because it's time to do the last of the year. Maybe the last ever, depending if it gets renewed. Frasier time. I watched the final 2 episodes of Frasier, which were probably the best of this new season. Andy Daly, if people know who that is, had a pretty great guest spot on one episode. Yeah, playing a plumber, which Frasier inadvertently gets involved with one of his schemes and then kind of kills it by playing along and improvising really well. They pair up the 2 characters that I'm calling the Niles shards, which are the 2 characters that they kind of split Niles into, and they paired them up in the last 2 episodes, which was nice and fun. The last episode, which was a Christmas episode / a classic Frasier tries to throw a party episode, features a guest spot from one of the OG cast members. And focuses heavily again on the loss of Martin and John Mahoney. It was great. It's good stuff. I really hope they get to do another season. I'd be cool if they did slightly longer seasons, because I think that with a sitcom, it might be nice. I think sometimes to a certain degree, you kind of need that, like, especially for this type of sitcom, that kind of like stone to grind it against to get it as sharp as possible. And with these like short seasons, I worry that they wouldn't be able to get there potentially in the long run, but we'll see. Anything else? Anything people have been watching want to shout out before we sign off for the year?
No, that's it for me.
I saw The Boy and the Heron the other night, which was great.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's like a movie I need to definitely want to revisit, just because in the future, because it's just so, one, because I want to hear the English voice cast, because I want to hear Pattinson going freak mode.
It's wild.
But also because it's such a movie, it's such an abstract movie. It's funny watching it. It made me laugh even harder. I had a friend who months ago was complaining, genuinely, more kids are going to see Five Nights at Freddy's in the new Miyazaki movie, and I was like, well, yeah, I don't know if kids would really like the Miyazaki movie as much, to be totally honest. It's not even a diss against the Miyazaki movie, but it's a kind of a movie made for adults, I think. More so. It's very abstract, very metaphorical. It's also clearly in the similar vein to some of what Scorsese has been doing. It's clearly a movie made by someone towards the end of their career, kind of looking back at what they've created.
I mean, just all the elements that he pulls from his past movies. I feel like there's a lot of nods to Isao Takahata's movies, Grave of the Fireflies and Princess Kaguya. It's this really cool summary of Ghibli movie that I think adds to that abstraction that you're talking about, but I think makes it linger. I definitely recommend I've been listening to the soundtrack a ton, because it's really nice to just return to the headspace of it.
The one thing I'll say about the movie negative is it's such a beautiful movie, and then they hit you with the fucking ugliest credits I've maybe ever seen. It was I don't know if you agree with me, Josh. It was because especially how beautiful the movie is, and then it gets to the end and it looks like somebody got their nephew to make the credits on iMovie, and I was like, what the fuck?
I think especially with how abruptly the movie kind of ends.
Yeah, that
and then
too.
To just fall into that. Yeah. I guess I guess I'll shout out a movie that's about to come out. I saw a pre-screening of the All of Us Strangers, the new Andrew Haigh movie,
Nice.
with Andrew Scott and Paul Mescal, and it's great. It's a weepy for sure, but it's one that really earns the emotions that it elicits, and yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites of the year. It's also another, to go with holdovers, it's another new addition to the stealth Christmas canon,
Nice.
in a very equally devastating way. But yeah, I read that comes out in like the next week or so. I recommend it. Very happy.
Well,
All right, I gotta go. I'm sorry,
all right.
guys.
Paul has to go. Edwin, did you have anything you wanted to show off? Bye, Paul.
Bye.
Posters or anything cool? No.
I'm like stuck in my bed.
All right. Well, we'll end the whole episode then. But thanks.
I'm dying.
Thanks. Let me do my final things. Let me credit Brian Robert for composing our outro. Find us CinemaCurse666 on Insta and TikTok. Please like, subscribe, smash that like button. Please share this with your local Santa Claus. I was gonna say could be gone for a month. I think when we come back we're gonna do a couple of like Oscar, especially as nominations in the next month, or we're gonna start seeing more and more like what's gonna be in the contention. I think for sure probably we're gonna talk about definitely the three that I've seen that I really want to talk about are Saltburn, Poor Things, and May December. Because I think all of those will be, as opposed to like Napoleon, which is a movie I liked, and I don't know if we're going to talk about that one fully, because I don't know as much.
It doesn't really seem like it's going to be big in the awards.
Yeah, and I don't really know what
I really liked it.
Yeah,
but,
I don't really know as much to talk about. Like I mean, I liked it. Like if I were to rank that movie with the other movies I mentioned, it would be in the middle, weirdly. But it's like some of the movies that I like less, I think, are going to be more interesting to talk about.
Sure.
And then also, I think this is going to be like the 24th. We're starting the Twin Peaks Book Club episodes. We're going to talk for the first episode about the pilot and episodes 1 and 2. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for joining me, guys. Thanks to everyone who's watching, and have a happy holidays and Merry Christmas, and don't do anything you would regret. Too much.
That's what Christmas is for.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, Edwin.
Merry Christmas, Josh.
Merry Christmas, Edwin.
Merry Christmas and safe travels, Connor.
Thank you. But bye everybody. I'm gonna go to the outro, and